Hey everyone, we are live. I'm a few minutes early today, but I could not wait to get started. Come on in. Thank you so much for joining. Hi Diva, hi Dellen. Good to see you guys. Happy Thursday. Hey. Today we are making slow cooker jambalaya. I'm so beyond excited for this recipe because I'm gonna show you. You're welcome. Thanks for joining. I'm going to show you how to take this simple base and adapt it into a lot of different flavors, because once you know these base ingredients that you could literally throw into your slow cooker, thank you for the hearts, guys. It's one of those dishes that you could easily get on the table any night of the week. So I love this. I'm super excited. Thank you, Dellen, for inviting followers. Make sure to share this out so that we could get more people into the jambalaya party. It is a jambalaya party today. My name is Andrea, and I am the host of the Dabbling Chef Show right here on Periscope. I'm a certified plant-based chef and recipe developer. Hi, Day Day. Welcome. We are cooking up jambalaya today. And if there's time, I'm also gonna make a really quick gluten-free cornbread. Just a couple ingredients. I have it all set up for you guys. You're gonna see all the prep. I'm gonna show you. So I have this. This is my recipe right here. If you wanna take a screenshot, it is inspired by a vegan blog. Hi, Chin, thanks for inviting followers. You rock. If you wanna take a screenshot here, if you wanna look back, this recipe is part of the meal plans that I have been working on for you guys behind the scenes. Tons of amazing stuff going on. But it's a super simple. Thank you for inviting followers, Darcy, too. You guys rock today. Super simple slow cooker recipe. I'll be honest, how much longer do I have? Not much longer, right? Can I just make it and send it to you? Maybe. I'm gonna chop it all up for you guys. We're gonna start with a little bit, we gotta put a little bit of oil. This is my crock pot. It's not a huge crock pot. I'll be honest, I don't use the crock pot a ton. I'm just gonna put a little bit of oil into the bottom, about a tablespoon of oil. We're gonna start with that. You could use any kind of oil here. You could use a coconut oil, an avocado oil, a little bit of ghee. We just wanna grease the bottom of our slow cooker. And what's great about this recipe is that this is kind of your base, and I'll tell you of all the different spices. Hi, Coach for Wellbeing, thanks for joining, that you can mix into this to change it up. So today we have our red bell pepper, we have some celery, I'm using the celery hearts, 4 cloves of garlic, and a medium onion. So let's quickly prep these ingredients. I'm gonna show you guys the way that I prep my pepper. I just line it up on my cutting board like this, straight up and down, and I cut around the edges. That's for me the easiest way to chop it. Lay it flat. As long as you have your ingredient on a flat surface, makes it so much easier to work with. So super quick, I have my garbage bowl here. We could save the rest for stock. Because this is gonna cook down for a couple hours, thank you guys for the hearts and for inviting followers. We don't need to chop it super small because we don't want the ingredients to completely disintegrate into nothing. So it's pretty quick to just prep all of this, which is why I wanted to show you guys a few tricks as I prep. When I'm chopping peppers, I let my hand fold into the groove of the pepper. So I hold it down on this side, and that's how I slice it like that. So you could kind of go along with the curve of the pepper. Check that out. We got some nice slices. So first we're gonna slice it into long pieces, and then we will chop it into slightly smaller bite-sized pieces. So we're almost already done with our 1 red pepper. You could also use a green pepper in this. So I'm just gonna kind of roughly chop these, line them up on my cutting board. It doesn't have to be perfect. You know, it's all about just putting good food on the table. It doesn't have to be perfect. So let's give this a rough chop across. So we have kind of our bite-sized pieces, and then we're just gonna throw that right into the slow cooker. This is a slow cooker recipe. You could also make it on the stovetop. If you're not a fan of the slow cooker, if you don't have one, hi Terry, thanks for joining. You could easily adapt this to any kind of a Dutch oven. So a Dutch oven that you can put on the stove, saute the veggies on the stove first and then transfer it to the oven. So any oven safe kind of dish like that will work as well. I kind of like the set it and forget it. Hey Steve, thanks for joining. Hope you guys are doing well. So now we have our celery. 2 stalks of celery in this, or I just kind of had this left over. Hey guys, it's getting a little old, not so great anymore, but if we cook it down into a stew or a soup, it's gonna be perfectly fine. And all of these leaves are packed with flavor in the celery heart. So don't get rid of that and just give it a rough chop. I'm just gonna kind of chop off the little bitty ends that kind of got a little gray. And then we're just gonna give it a rough chop. We'll chop off both ends. We don't want this in our, we don't want that in our jambalaya. Thank you for sharing, Focus Zone. You guys rock. So just a quick chop across. Always kind of, as you're practicing your knife skills, if you could work on holding your hand a little bit like a crab claw and holding your ingredients steady and curling your fingers under. That's the best way to make sure that your fingers are safe. And always you should be looking at the space between the knife and your fingers. So we want to be very careful, especially when we're on live video. We don't want to lose any fingers here. So I'm just gonna literally, as Rachel Ray would say, chop and drop it right into the slow cooker. And now the onion, I'm gonna just cut off the end very close to that tail, that furry bit, so that it holds the onion together as you're chopping. So first I cut off both ends, and then I put a thin little slice in the side to peel it, and then we're gonna give this a rough chop as well. It's good to have your bowl, whether you're saving this for stock, which I have done an episode in the past on how to make a super simple vegetable stock out of all your veggie scraps. So what's with the question marks? We are making jambalaya today. So really what this is a simple rice dish with a base of mirepoix. So mirepoix I've talked about before, but it's a base of aromatics. And in this case, we have our onion, our celery, our red pepper, and our garlic. So typically, sometimes they call it the Holy Trinity, and our bots, I know. They call it the Holy Trinity, and typically, jambalaya is a little more of a southern, the question marks are a spam bubble, I know. We gotta just ignore those guys. Are like a Cajun twist. So New Orleans cuisine, a lot of times you'll see the red pepper in your mirepoix instead of carrots, which is a little bit more of a French style. So depending on the type of cuisine, there's always that core set of aromatics that you could use as the base of your dish. So you'll see this a lot as base for stews and soups. And in your slow cooker, this is what we're using to create that layer of flavor for the dish. So I just sliced this in half, and I'm going to slice towards that knobby furry end. We don't have to cut this super thin, but I'm gonna slice across first, and then down the length of the onion, and we're gonna give it a quick dice. And just kind of hold your hand around. You don't even have to go all the way to the end because we're saving this for our stock. So this is 1 medium onion, and we're basically almost done with our jambalaya prep. So not so bad. A little chopping, throwing it into the slow cooker, and then we're gonna let the slow cooker do the rest of the work for us. So first down the width this way, and then into the onion, and I missed the comment. I'm trying to focus on my fingers here. I missed the comment. We're gonna throw that right into the slow cooker. And now we can add our spices. And this is where I wanted to talk to you guys. Actually, I forgot the garlic. Wait, Tommy, wonderful. Thanks for joining. We cannot forget our garlic. So I have 4 cloves of garlic here that I'm going to add to this. The original recipe calls for 3 cloves of garlic. Hi Linda, thanks for joining. I'm gonna show you guys a really quick way to mince garlic, a super simple trick that you can use. I always either double, save your fingers first, yes, exactly. I always double the amount of garlic in a recipe automatically. That's kind of always been my thing. If there are 2 cloves, I add 4, or at least add 1 extra, 1 extra clove of garlic for good luck. I'm gonna give these a nice good smash. Did you see that go flying? Smash that garlic. This is the easiest way to peel it. Smash that garlic with your knife. Carefully get out that aggression. Thank you for inviting followers. I appreciate that. Your sister does that too. Good, awesome. I love my fellow garlic lovers. If you don't like garlic, on the other hand, you could always cut it down or cut it out. And since this is a slow cooker recipe, I would be okay with, if you're in a super huge rush, just smash the garlic, cut off the one little end and throw it right into the slow cooker. Oh no, it turned off for some reason. Well, I'm glad you came back. You can leave the garlic cloves whole if you wish, but I'm gonna show you a really quick way to mince them. Possible to order a plate and trying your food. I will send some your way. You guys should come over. We can have a jambalaya party. This is definitely a great dish. Thank you, Linda, for inviting followers. This is a great dish for a crowd because it's super easy and you serve it over rice. It's basically just veggies and rice. And what I like is that you can adapt it because you're adding the beans and the meat, if you want, at the end. So technically, this base recipe is a vegan recipe. But if you want to saute up some sausage or even a vegan sausage, thank you for the super hearts, Steve. You are awesome. That is so cool. I love seeing those floating by. You can almost create like a DIY jambalaya bar, which would be kind of fun if you're serving this at a party. So quick tip about garlic. I always remove the germ. So the germ is that middle piece in your garlic. So I just cut this big clove in half, and this is the germ, if you guys can see that there. So it's like that green piece right in the middle of your clove of garlic that sometimes grows too long and sticks out the top. That germ is supposedly what repeats on you and can create bitterness in your dishes. Yes, that would be awesome. I would love to do like a dinner club, a private dinner club. How much fun would that be? No gator in the jambalaya. But I guess you could do andouille sausage, right? That would be good. So I always just take out the germ of my garlic. Ever since I heard that little tidbit that this is the culprit that repeats on you and can cause bitterness in your dish, it's gone. It's gone. I don't want it in my food. So it's difficult for us to digest, basically. If you have really fresh garlic, you'll notice that the fresher the garlic, the smaller the germ will be. If the garlic is a little bit older and maybe you haven't used it for the week, it is gonna be crawfish. That would be really good too. Exactly. If you do your jambalaya bar, you can adapt this recipe in so many different ways. And that's what I love about just knowing these base ingredients that go into your slow cooker. And then the rest, because it's at the end, you could finish it off however you like. Maybe some shrimp would be good. Maybe some, let's see, what else? Keeping it vegan. I was even thinking jackfruit. Have you guys tried jackfruit if you want to keep it a vegan or vegetarian recipe? So here we go. Here's how super simple way to mince our garlic. We're gonna give it a rough chop. We're gonna kind of pile it up, give it a rough chop through the garlic on your cutting board. And then we're gonna add a little bit of salt to this. And then we're gonna mash it with our knife. So adding the salt first helps to release some of the juices. Yeah, so watch your fingers. So really, you do want to add a good amount of salt. You want to see the salt, let it rain. Kosher salt is best for this because table salt will have a little bit too strong of a salty taste. But you kind of just smash it on your board and pull your knife down. Smash it on your board and pull your knife down, and you'll see all of the garlicky goodness releasing, and your fingers are gonna smell a little garlicky, which I never minded because that's how, it reminds me of my grandma. It makes me feel like a chef when my hands smell garlicky. But you could always just run it under some cold water, and that's the best way to get it off. So run your knife through it, then smash, oh, don't smash too hard, stick finger. Smash it down and pull your knife down. And that's how you really release all those amazing juices out of the garlic. And then if you hold the top of the knife like this and just rock it back and forth, you can quickly mince your garlic down. And like I said, since this is cooking in a slow cooker, I'm okay with it being whole cloves in there if you want to skip this part. It's like macerating fruit. It is. And it's kind of fun. Oh, it totally is. My husband is a garlic freak. He loves garlic. That was the secret to our relationship. Yes, anything stainless will get the smell out as well, but I find that cold water works pretty well too. So, but for now, since I'm here, I'm just gonna kind of wait on that. I'll enjoy the garlicky goodness for today. Hi, Tampa, Cocoa Beach. Ooh, good to see you. So we are basically done with our aromatics. So our mirepoix is in our slow cooker, ready to go. We added a little bit of fat at the bottom just so it doesn't stick. And now we need to add some tomatoes. So crushed tomatoes go in this. You need about a 14-ounce can. You didn't know that. I hope this isn't part, I don't know what this is. I hope this isn't part of my can opener. We're not gonna be able, oh, we got it. Something randomly fell off of my can opener, but I think we're okay. I think we're safe. I broke it. I broke it. I don't know if you guys saw my spiralizer video from a little while back. Let me get the lid to this. But I could not get my spiralizer to work live on Periscope right here. It was hilarious. So if you haven't watched that blooper, you gotta check it out. It's on my Instagram too, at Dabbling Chef, where I just literally couldn't get my spiralizer to work. But normally I'm not that klutzy in the kitchen, I promise. So, okay, we're adding this is a 28-ounce can. You only need, gluten-free is the best. Yeah, I'll get to the cornbread in just a minute too. So you only need about half the can. So we're adding the canned tomatoes. I did, this one is an organic, non-GMO, crushed tomatoes with basil. But whatever you have on hand, you could also use fresh tomatoes, about 3 fresh tomatoes. Of course, thank you for joining. You're gonna eat that cornbread. Oh no. Okay, next we have our vegetable broth, and then we are going to add our spices. So about 4 cups of vegetable broth. And I did want to mention something here. So I am using a store-bought vegetable broth today because I didn't have any homemade on hand. I actually have a lot of veggies frozen in my freezer right now. I need to go through and make a broth. But if you need to buy a store-bought vegetable broth, totally fine. I just want to make a note, something interesting that I noticed in the store the other day. Definitely check the ingredients. And this frustrates me personally, but the ingredients on the organic vegetable broth were actually worse than the ingredients on the regular vegetable broth. So I had one of those moments where I'm sitting in the store and I literally didn't know what to do because the ingredients in the organic broth were from concentrate. So rather than just your raw ingredients, like this says carrots, carrot stock, onion stock, tomato paste, lemon juice, celery, sea salt, roasted garlic. It has real raw ingredients that you recognize, right? But the organic one had all these everything was from concentrate. And I don't know if that's a way for them to save money or whatever, but I would rather, in that case, if I have to get it, just get the regular broth. Whatever it is that you're eating, closest to nature as possible, that's the way I look at it. So just wanted to make that point for you guys because it really kind of frustrated me. So thank you for the hearts though. So we're almost done. So now we're gonna add some spices to this. 2 tablespoons of paprika. So we added our mirepoix, our veggies, which are the base flavor in this. We added our vegetable stock, or of course you could use, if you have bone broth, if you have a chicken stock that's homemade, that would be great in this too, if you're not worried about it being vegetarian. You could use your tomato. We added our tomatoes. 2 tablespoons of paprika. So now we're gonna spice it up. This is where the goodness comes in. 2 tablespoons of paprika go in here. If I could get it out of the jar. I think we're using all of it. All of it goes in. All of it, 2 tablespoons. And then 2 tablespoons of cumin. So it is a good amount of spice that we're adding to this. It's really gonna be a lot of amazing flavors, especially when you're serving this over your rice. It's gonna be so good. And look, it doesn't have to be perfectly measured. It's not the end of the world. A little bit of black pepper, a little pinch of salt. We already used salt when we minced our garlic, so we wanna remember that. And you could always add a little more salt at the end. Since this is gonna be cooking for a long time in the slow cooker, you wanna make sure that you give yourself the chance to adjust the seasonings at the end. So now, let's give this a mix. There's a lot of liquid in here. Let me show you what we got. Look at that, it's gonna cook down. Hey, good to see you, Ernie. This is where I wanted to talk you guys through some of the little tweaks you could make. So you have this base recipe now, and say one week you want to change it up and you want to make it a little more of a curry, you add your curry powder here. You want to make it a little Ethiopian twist, you add your Berber spice. Berber spice, can you guys see that? Berber spice. If you want to make it a little Moroccan, if you've ever tried Ras El Hanout, can you see that? It is so delicious. This has, let's see, allspice, cumin, coriander, cinnamon, nutmeg, ginger, garlic, cardamom, cloves. Oh man, it smells so good. It's so good. You've never used Berber spice before. That's a very common Ethiopian spice that you'll find, and it has such wonderful depth of flavor. Definitely check it out if you see it at the store. Another one that you could change is harissa. So that's a North African spice. So at this point, now you're hungry. Spice is making me hungry. Harissa is paprika, caraway, cayenne, crushed red pepper, coriander, cumin, organic peppermint. Such a beautiful, beautiful mix of spices, and will change. So any one of these, not all of them together, but at this point, you could add thyme, spice, dried thyme. You could add oregano, dried oregano, but one of these spice mixes, even a Jamaican jerk seasoning. Check that out. Oh, so good. This one's really good. It has onion, garlic, sea salt, paprika, cayenne, allspice, thyme, turmeric, so many good things. Give you a bowl of this, exactly. So I would say about 2 teaspoons of a fun spice mix, maybe something that you've never tried before. Put that right into your slow cooker at this stage, and then you could make this week in and week out, and it's the same kind of basic mix of veggies to start, but that little change of that spice mix will completely alter the dish and give it a new flavor profile, but you could finish it off the same way. You could still serve it over rice. You could serve it over quinoa. It's gonna be so, so delicious, and it just kind of gives it that little twist to keep it fresh. Keep it fresh and exciting for your palate. So that is it for our slow cooker. We're gonna throw this on, and it's gonna go on for about 4 hours. You guys can see the belly now. See the belly? It's gonna go on for about 4 hours, 4 to 5 hours. And then if you want to add rice directly to your slow cooker, about an hour and a half before you're gonna serve it, you would add the rice directly on here. Or you can cook the rice separately, cook the quinoa separately. Grains are a great thing to prep in advance for your whole week. You can make them 5 days ahead. They keep in the fridge. So that's definitely an option as well if you're not home and you just want to make kind of this base stew. And then you add your beans. It's, let's see, let me check the recipe. So it is a 14-ounce can of red kidney beans that you drain. I always drain the beans because I don't know what they put in that sauce. I just drain it, rinse it. You add your red kidney beans right at the end, and you add whatever, people said crawfish, you add whatever extra ingredient you want. You cook it separately and you kind of build it as you go. It's like a DIY jambalaya. It's so good. So that is our jambalaya. Let's quickly make some cornbread. You guys ready for this? Gluten-free cornbread. So simple to make. Hold on one second. I don't have a bowl. You eat microwave rice with soy sauce. That, you know, you can use that kind of rice too. I encourage you to try making your own rice. It's one of those things that's really fun when you get the knack of it. Kosher salt is a great ingredient. Kosher salt in rice is like the secret. I remember I knew a chef growing up and he made the best rice, and it was the kosher salt. I don't know what it is. Sometimes just seasoning something properly makes all the difference. So we have our cornbread now. So this recipe is by my friend at belowthefork.com. She is an amazing woman who creates tons of gluten-free recipes if you want to check out her site. And we are using a gluten-free 1-to-1 baking flour in this. So it starts off with just 1 cup of the flour, and anytime you're baking, you want to level off your flour with a knife. And we were playing yesterday. So 1 cup of 1-to-1 gluten-free flour goes into our bowl. And I also have my dish that I greased up a little bit. So this is what I'm gonna make the cornbread in. I just put a little bit of coconut oil spray to grease it up. Below the Fork. Belowthefork.com. Yes, thank you for typing that up. Belowthefork.com if you wanna check out our website. So this is super simple gluten-free cornbread. I'm using Bob's Red Mill 1-to-1 baking flour, which is a mix that I particularly love. I think it works really well in recipes. You could easily swap it out. And always level off when you're measuring your flour. Very kind of with a soft hand, fill your measuring cup and level it off with a knife, because if you pour it in and pack it down, you're gonna affect the weight of it. A lot of times, actually in the US is one of the only places where we use cup measures instead of weight when we're baking, because it's really all about the weight. Baking is so much more of a chemistry. And we were playing yesterday, I was letting my kids just play with all-purpose flour and water and kind of make a sticky dough, which is a great way if you have extra all-purpose flour in your house and you don't want to cook with it. It's a great way to use it up. And my son goes, oh, I need a knife, because we were just scooping it out. And it was a proud mommy moment. I'm like, no, you don't need to level off the flour when we're just playing. But yes, when you're baking, you want your knife to level it off. So 1 cup all-purpose flour, the gluten-free 1-to-1 flour is what I'm using. Oh, and we're just playing. I know, I don't like wasting food, don't worry. I didn't grow up that way either. So 2 cups of cornmeal go right in there. We're gonna mix our dry ingredients in a second. 3.5 teaspoons of baking powder, which I already pre-measured. Then a teaspoon of kosher salt. A teaspoon, this is not a teaspoon, this is, oh yeah it is. This is a teaspoon. A teaspoon of kosher salt. You would have eaten that. They were just playing around. It's fun to let them experience mixing up real ingredients and what happens. It's almost like a chemistry experiment, a science experiment for them. Like, what's gonna happen if we add water to this? The same way you kind of make one of those homemade volcanoes that actually erupts. You use the baking soda and vinegar to create that reaction. So I'm just whisking the ingredients together, the dry ingredients. Yeah. Whisking them together. Then we're gonna add 1 egg. So this is not a vegan recipe. You still don't know how to knead dough. This is not a vegan recipe because we're adding the egg, but you could adapt it. You could add a flax egg, which is 1 tablespoon water to 1 tablespoon flax to 3 tablespoons water. Sorry, 1 tablespoon flax seed to 3 tablespoons water. And then 1/3 of a cup of oil. So I am using avocado oil today, but you could also use coconut oil in this. You could use melted ghee if you want, or melted butter if you're feeling a little crazy. But we got 1/3 cup coconut oil and then 1 cup of milk. So you could use a non-dairy milk, would work great in this, like an almond milk or coconut milk. 1 cup of milk goes right in, and we're just gonna give this a quick mix. And it is gonna be a very thick batter. So I'm gonna switch from my whisk because it's getting all caught in my whisk. I'm gonna switch to a wooden spoon to stir this up. Let's get all that goodness out. Can't make dough very well. Hold on, we got stuck. All right, there we go. Get all that goodness out, give it a stir. Try not to over mix, just kind of fold all those ingredients together. And you'd mess up a glass of water. I just posted a video of how to make ice. It was hilarious because I guess it was making fun of all the cooking videos that you see on Facebook now. So it was literally pour the water into your ice cube tray. And look at me knocking stuff over today. What's going on with me today? It was so funny. So, it doesn't, cooking doesn't have to be complicated. Just simple ingredients, fresh ingredients, prepared simply. The best you can do if you're putting food on the table, that's what matters. I think cooking at home is so important, and that's what I'm here to help, to make it not so intimidating, to take the stress out of healthy cooking. So look how thick that is. So it's a beautiful, thick cornbread. I'm gonna get in there with my hands a little bit. I feel like I'm not stirring this well enough. I'm just gonna give it a quick stir with my hands to make sure there are no streaks of white left. And then we're gonna pour this right into our prepared pan. And you're gonna bake this up at 350 for about 20 to 25 minutes until a toothpick comes out clean. I could never get the hang of Thursdays. Your aunt adds sugar. Oh, I forgot the sugar. I'm chatting too much. You're right. I was supposed to add a 2/3 cup of coconut sugar, which is probably too late. Look at me. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. See, even I mess up sometimes. It's okay. We're gonna see if we could add it. It's probably too late because we already mixed all the ingredients. Whoopsie! Mulligan. I don't know that I can add it now, but we'll see. We'll add 2/3 cup. I'm using a coconut sugar. Sorry guys. I'm gonna blame the mommy brain on that one. You were wondering about the sugar, I know. Oh, that makes a lot more sense because we want some sweetness to our cornbread. So I missed that. That's it happens. It happens. The problem with coconut sugar is that it does have color to it. So if you want to use a coconut palm sugar, it looks like it's not really blending in as well. I would try maple syrup as well in this, or you can use a regular sugar. But coconut palm sugar is not strike one. I don't need sugar, I'm sweet enough. There we go, thank you. Strike one. And I already told you guys how my spiralizer didn't work the other day. You know, just things happen. Things happen live on camera. So I went right in there with my hands because sometimes when I'm making baked goods, I like to forget to add ingredients apparently. But also I think it's easier to mix with your hands. This is a really thick dough, as you can see. But you kind of press it down into your baking tray and then bake it for 20 to 25 minutes. Thank you for the hearts, guys. I appreciate the support today. That's what happens making 2 recipes, you know, maybe 2 recipes is too many. But we got our jambalaya on the slow cooker. That is going, that is in the oven. Let me wash this off my hands now. And don't forget to add the sugar to your cornbread because, you know, cornbread's got to be a little bit sweet. I think maybe we would have been fine without it. But now you want to cook this up in the oven at 350 for 20 to 25 minutes. And I will show you the recipe anyway. Maybe the sugar will dissolve when it bakes, yes. So this is from my friend at belowthefork.com. It's a gluten-free cornbread. You're basically using a gluten-free 1-to-1 flour. The top of the recipe is missing from here, but if you want to take a screenshot, that is the full recipe. And these are all available in my meal plans that I've been working on. So if you want to check that out, it's healthymehealthyfamily.com because I believe that a healthy family starts with you. If you're the one watching this and you're the one interested, you're the one who can really make that change for your entire family. So end it sugar-free. Sort of sugar-free if you forget. Oh, the sugar isn't forgotten. I know. I have it all set up right in front of me too, so there's no excuse. But we're having fun today. Thank you guys so much for watching. Again, my name is Andrea, and normally I don't forget the sugar, but I guess I am sweet enough. So today we made a slow cooker jambalaya, and I wanted to, yes, belowthefork.com is my friend Meredith's blog, and Healthy Me, Healthy Family, if you guys want to check out the meal plans that I've been working on, healthymehealthyfamily.com. And these recipes are included in that meal plan, which would give you recipes for the entire week for your family, as well as shopping lists, tons of ideas, ways to adapt them to different diets and lifestyles, which is really important to me because I like to share vegan and vegetarian recipes on this channel, but I'm not the type of person who says one diet works for everyone. So my whole theory is to eat real food, and cook at home as much as we can so that we're controlling the types of food that we eat. And I think that's so important. So if I could make that a little bit easier for you guys, that's what I'm all about. And not forgetting the sugar. So check that out. It just launched today, healthymehealthyfamily.com. I'd love to have you guys join. And I will see you next week for more great simple dinner ideas like this one, so we can all feed our families a little bit healthier and get our fruits and veggies in, right? So healthymehealthyfamily.com. Yes, thank you so much for posting that. Anything beats microwave rice and soy sauce. Yes, I guess it does. Just saute up some broccoli. I would say, what veggie can you add to that? If that's your favorite thing, great. But what veggie could we add to it? Dina's here. Even sugarless cornbread. Exactly. It happens. We're having fun. That's what live TV is all about. And that's why I love being here. Oh no, turn on your notifications so you don't miss it. Every Thursday at noon, I am on live right here on Periscope. And I will see you guys next week. I hope you have a wonderful, wonderful weekend. Rest of the week. Happy almost Friday. And remember to put sugar in your cornbread. That's all I got to say about that. Thank you guys. Thank you to everyone who watched. Thank you to the replay viewers. And make sure to share this out and, crack up later. I'll see you guys later. Have a great one. Bye.